on one sec. I just want to make sure we are live on Facebook.
Oh,
I love technology, Ashley, because every day you're used to this, but every day I look up and I wonder if I'm really live on Facebook. So
you're really live because I watch you every day because you're doing incredible on these podcasts. So you're really live. You know what you're doing. And you're rocking, Terry.
Well, I look to you like I'm telling you, like I'm like, Ashley, what am I doing? Because
you're doing amazing.
So I only hope that you're sharing it, because then I know not only am I live in Michigan, I am live in Italy,
in Spain, in every single place that you can possibly think of.
I'm so excited. I'm
everywhere right now.
I'm international right now with you.
I actually should be sharing it live on my end too. That's what I should be doing.
So I always say I share it live on my business, then I share it live on my personal. And like I said, with Ashley Gold, I've reached my height of international fame. So
I'll share live on my end too.
I am excited. I am with Ashley Gold. And I posted yesterday everything that sparkles, and who knew in Michigan it was going to be this rainy, gloomy day. So it's really fun to talk about things that sparkle. We're both like sparkling here, gems away, but
yes.
It's really fun because I feel like I put on jewelry and I layer and I mix my metals, and it's really funny because my daughter will be like, what are you doing? I'm like, no. Ashley taught me this. I can mix my metals. I can layer. The funny thing is I rarely take these off.
They're an everyday staple.
I mean, other than I don't work out in these, although I probably could, but the best part is that I wear these hoops daily. They're not, I always say they're not too big for someone with short hair.
Right.
And they don't fall off when I'm on my phone, which, if I still do this.
Right, because they have a lock closure, so you're perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for being with me. We have so much to cover, but I am walking everyone backwards with you today.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
You started out, and one of the things I have loved about starting this FaceTime Live, which is so out of my wheelhouse, so out of my box. So you and I have really laughed about this because this is you in front of a camera, not me. But so many people I've actually talked to have been family business growing up, like myself. And you started out really for your love of jewelry, really growing up with your brother, learning from your father. So and that's really how I got my work ethic. I think when I watch you work, it is really comes from your parents, from working at a very young age, growing up, watching your dad hustle like no other, in his business. I mean, is that what would you agree with me?
Yes. So, I consider myself, everybody knows me as currently the past 6 years as Ashley Gold, ashleygold.com. But taking it back, as you said, I'm a pawnbroker. Okay. I'm a hustler. I'm constantly making deals. I'm constantly coming up with new ideas. I'm constantly bargaining with people. But in my heart, in my soul, I am a pawnbroker. That is me. I was brought up in the business. I used to go to work on Saturdays when I was in school with my dad, literally at the age of 6, 7 years old, writing pawn tickets. I remember the counters were way too tall for me. So I would slide, I'm serious, I can envision this. I would slide over a chair and I would stand up behind the glass windows, and I would stand up on my hands on the counters and wait on customers because I was too short. I'm still a little short right now. I'm just shy of 5'1". But that's how I would do it. And I would schedule my college courses at Michigan State around the weekend so that I can come back and forth and work at the store at American Jewelry. But that's how I did it. I would stop taking classes on Thursday nights, come back home. So I worked Fridays and Saturdays. And then my mom or dad would take me back to college on Sunday nights. Graduated the business school. And I knew that I wanted to come into the family business. And that's what I did. And I loved it. And then things started evolving.
And so the truth is that then people got to know your family, not just locally, but they got to see your family in really one of the first, I like to say, really one of the first reality TV shows that really, I think it really started it all. And I laugh because my father, who would never turn, I have to say, sorry, Bravo, would never turn on Bravo. But he called me, he's like, have you seen this pawn show? And I was like, Dad, what are you watching? And he turned me on to your family because he loved all the pawn broker type of shows. Like he loved seeing what people would bring in or have in their basements or what they collected. And I'm like, wait, this is in Michigan. So
the coolest part, what I love about the business so much is that, let me back up one more second. Why I wanted to go into the business and what drew me is because you wake up every morning and I didn't want to sit in an office setting. I didn't want that lifestyle. I wanted to have excitement in my life. I wanted an adrenaline rush every single day. And I actually got it. But I wanted something new to walk through the door every single day, not knowing what was going to walk through that door. And I love an excitement in my life. I love not knowing what is next. Just like what I'm doing right now. Like, what is the next jewelry trend? What can I start next? I always love that excitement in my life of what is next to come. So I love that. And I knew that that's what I wanted my life to be. So that's why I chose the direction that I did. And then, graduating college, graduation was on a Sunday. I started work that Monday. And I worked all the way until I was put on bed rest with my first child. And then my husband and I decided that I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. That was a joke because
pretty much, yeah.
I stayed home until he was 3, and then I had our daughter, and she was 1, and then the show Hardcore Pawn came about, and I went back to work 6 days a week. So that lasted 9 seasons, which was 6.5 years. And
what we laugh because I'll say to you, like, you'll post something, and I'll say, like, I remember once saying to you, like, is this show still playing like in Europe? Because you do have a huge European following with your current jewelry line, but it is because the show still plays in European countries. They love it.
The show is still on in over 40 countries daily. And I appreciate everybody following me on this wild journey because after the show stopped, I could have either continued working at the store or I could have just been home and not done anything. But I wanted to continue my passion, which was designing jewelry, because I designed jewelry working for my father. I managed the store, and I wanted to just take it further. I knew that there was more for me. And you know what? There's still more for me out there. I'm not sure what it is, but I want to keep going, and I want to keep thinking of the new creations that I can come up with.
Well, it's fun. It's always fun to talk with you on the side because I never know what you're going to be doing, but I know it isn't going to lunch. I always know that you're going to be seeing your friends, but it's on your way to something, to see a friend, to go do something else because, you are like me. You somehow
We're
manage
very
to.
Similar.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to do it all, but you are not a stay-at-home mom in the sense you're a devoted mom, but your kids are usually in the car going somewhere as you're dropping off jewelry,
Exactly.
And I think it's an amazing role model that you are for your kids. So the bottom line is that you left your family business to create your own business, which is amazing, and you started down this journey.
Yes, it was a crazy journey. It was definitely a crazy journey because I left the pawn shop and I started a business called Pawnchick Shopping, and I had a podcast called Pawnchick Radio. which was
Yes.
the coolest thing. So what I did on Pawnchick Radio was I would interview celebrities that I met along the way, whether it was on the Today Show, whether it was on Arsenio Hall show, whether it was on The View, all the shows that I had been on, I had gotten my contacts and I flipped the mic and I was interviewing them.
Yes.
I then got really busy in the jewelry industry and making my jewelry and started wholesaling and going to market that I couldn't keep up with my podcast. But now, so Pawnchick Radio and Pawnchick Shopping, but people got very confused if my jewelry was pawned. So about 3 years ago.
Well, I want to stop
okay.
because I think like here's a interesting, one of the things that you and I talk about and you have such an expertise on is marketing. And I think, growing up and working in the pawn industry and doing social media is you have a really good head for business and marketing. And before you talk about why you switched your brand, because you're about to talk about that. And since I know sort of the backstory, I think it's really important because I think it's a lesson to learn. And it's one of the things I want to bring out in this is that you're about to talk about is knowing your brand. And before you go into it, I think that this is one of those things where you were known for pawn. It made sense to use that name because that's who you were. But yet
I was the Pawnchick.
You were the Pawnchick. But as you entered into this new world, you ended up with all these questions. So take it from there because it was a really interesting branding.
Yeah, so I was Pawnchick after I left the store for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, people can follow me because I'm the Pawnchick. It would be my jewelry line, it would be my podcast, and so forth. Well, I started getting questioned. Is the jewelry used? Is it from the pawn shop? I wanted to separate myself from the pawn shop and be my own brand. And I then realized that Pawnchick Shopping and Pawnchick Radio wasn't going to work. So I then had to rebrand again. And I then had to use something that I never thought was going to be so difficult and get my own website with my name. But little did I know that name was already being used. So we had to go through a lot of ropes and challenges, and we did it. And I had to rebrand to ashleygold.com. But it was.
Isn't that interesting? Someone had your name.
Somebody had my name. That person no longer existed on this planet. It was the craziest thing I've ever had to deal with, but we did it, and I had the right people to help me deal with it, and it worked. It really worked. And when I set myself up for a goal, I don't fail. Let me just tell the world that right now, that when Ashley Gold sets herself up for something to achieve, I don't fail. And I'll keep going for whatever it takes. So I conquered that goal, and I trademarked my name and did whatever I had to do. And ashleygold.com was owned by somebody who no longer existed. So it was the craziest thing of my life, something so simple that
I sort of remember that phone call, like that you said, you're like, I can't have my name. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't have your name? It's your name.
You've been with me through this whole journey. So
well, and it's interesting because you're right, you don't fail. And you're very determined. And the truth of the matter is that there's a lot of people in any market trying to do similar type of things. And you've just really stayed true to, like, here's the course I'm on. This is what I'm going to do. And, we always say haters are going to hate. Here's my loyal market. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm going to do. And, here's my product. And so, what are you working on now? And I mean, I shouldn't say, like, let's back up even again, but COVID, I say to a lot of people that the good news is with COVID, you are online. Your business is online. You go to shows, but you are online. And so when COVID hit, you went into COVID mode of here I am,
Yes.
and gave to charities right away.
Yes.
Did lots of, so talk a little bit
Okay.
about.
So I started giving to charities. A percentage of all my proceeds went to charities. I started donating to hospitals. I also, had to switch gears because a lot of my stuff was very glitzy. Well, during COVID, you're home and you're not going to events. You're not going to weddings. You're not going to those elaborate functions. So I had to shift gears. You can see that I'm wearing just like plain hoops. So I have a lot of more plain designs on my website. I'm doing a lot of studs, simple. You can like dress up your ear, but you don't need to dress it up all the way up into your cartilage, like big gaudy studs and stones. So I'm doing more simplistic designs right now. A lot of layering chains, but simple, very simple that you can like wear with your loungewear. And my newest creation that people have seen all over the web are my mask chains. So I started this back in April. I have like so many assortments. You guys can see, or Sarah, you can see that I'm wearing it with this mask chain. I was first just making it, simple that it can be worn while you're going in and out of the grocery store or the drugstore. But now I decided that I want to double layer them. So you can have it double layered. And then hopefully one day when COVID's over, you can just wear it as a necklace. So you can really take these off. And then it's
no longer need, when we can give our masks a break.
You can give your mask a break and then you can just wear them and it just fits
layer
right
the necklace. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what's next because I'm seeing that a lot of people are doing this. Totally cool. Like people can do whatever they want. But like I want to be on top of what's next. So I have a lot of ideas in my head. The podcast.
I think what's great is, and we've talked about this, is people are you're going to see things you like and make them your own. You're going to come out with things first and people are going to copy or make things similar. And that. And
whatever, it's fine.
But the bottom line is that you have your people who want to follow you, want Ashley Gold merchandise and loyal followers. The other component is that with your designs, you can custom make them. So you're custom making them to, like, one of the things I love is if you're going off to take your U of M courses online this year, you can, or in person, hopefully, you can make them, the colors of your school, whether green.
I have so many colors. I can custom make them gifts. This weekend, I'm actually starting a whole kids line. So they're going to be measuring a lot smaller, sports themed. There's a section on my website at ashleygold.com where you, not right this second, but tomorrow, but I wanted to announce it here that you can do the kids' names. Right now you can customize all the adult names, but tomorrow you'll see a section on there for kids. So there's going to be a whole kids section on there. Smaller, larger beads and themed. So that's
I love that because, hopefully our kids are going to go back to school. And I got to tell you, let's face it, now it's bad enough that they lose their tennis shoes and lunch boxes. They're about to lose their masks.
They can't lose their masks. It's not.
And they can't. And
nobody can lose their masks.
I mean, I have, as you know, gotten a lot of these mask chains because my daughter went back to New York.
Right.
We got one for her. We got one for her roommate. I mean, this is, while an accessory, it's just our way of life. Yes. So, I get in the car and I put my mask and the chain right on because I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going to go somewhere with a mask and it just becomes a piece of jewelry now.
Right.
But I was, showing it to my husband and, he's hanging it from his ear and he's hanging it. And I'm like, I have to say, 3 times he's left without a mask. So now I've stuck one secretly in the glove compartment, and the thing is that we are a mask society now, or hopefully.
It's so crazy because now you're matching your masks to your outfits. But these are great because you can hang them from your rearview mirror, your gear, your purse. Like, you never have an excuse not to wear a mask anymore.
Well, and it's funny because, as you know, I gave one to my mother-in-law, and my parents are coming up here soon, so I'm going to get another one because the 2 I bought went to New York, so my mother doesn't have one yet. So we're getting,
don't worry, I'll get you one.
We're getting one for my mom soon. But my mother-in-law, I mean, it's like her favorite thing because, where's her mask? She, like, it is one of those things, like, you never really, you just reach in your purse or wherever you're going, it's just there. And
it's there, and you never have to think about it.
You don't have to think about it. And so I do love the fact that you give to charity, you think about what's next. They're colorful, so it's not dingy. I mean, you
do whatever people want. You can customize anything.
Right. So, and the other thing, and we've told the media this, like, we've done some media with this, is, men, make it all black, make it all brown. I mean, my husband, your husband, they're walking into their offices now.
Right. I'm selling a ton to men right now.
Mm-hmm.
And men are loving it because men lose a lot of stuff. I know my husband loses a lot of stuff.
Oh, come on.
I mean, my husband loses a lot of stuff. So, I mean, he loves it. The guys he works with love it. And it's a great accessory for anybody. Every single person around the world needs one of these.
So let's also talk about what do you think the fall, what do you think the trends are going to be? I mean, are we getting out of our house? Are we blitzing up a little bit, or?
I like to get dressed. You like to get dressed during the day because you still want to feel not like you're always in your pajamas.
Yeah.
So throw on a necklace, throw on a pair of hoops, throw on a stud. You don't need to get all dazzled up just because you're home, but you do want to feel like you are awake and you are getting dressed and not just always like slouching, and you want to feel good about yourself. So feel good about yourself. Throw on a pair of earrings, throw on a layering necklace, throw on a couple bracelets. Gold is not going anywhere. Gold jewelry is not going anywhere.
Interesting that you say that. I noticed that there was, during this time, people were selling their gold again. And I hadn't seen.
Because the prices of gold are very high.
Okay.
That's why. Because the market in gold is very high.
Interesting. You and I hadn't talked about that, and I saw this mad rush again. I hadn't seen that in a while. So
that was why. But on my site, I don't sell gold. I sell sterling silver gold plated. Mm-hmm. I want people to know that. So I sell sterling silver gold plated. So when people see gold on my site, I don't want them to get like freaked out, like, oh my God, she has gold, it's gonna be so expensive. Mine's fashion jewelry with sterling silver. So I try to be really reasonable for everybody, that they can still have fun with their jewelry and not spend a lot to do it.
Right. So and I love, one of the things I love is, and I love, like, when you show like just a little bit of color. Like I have, I think one day I was wearing just a necklace and it has like a little blue in it. So if you're wearing like all black, or which I tend to do, or all white.
It's like my staple color.
Right. But like throwing on just, a little bit of color through your jewelry is just so fun.
I call it the pop of color pop.
The pop of color.
Pop. And, it goes with either gold or silver. And of course, I'm always in my black t-shirt or long sleeve black. But the color pop with your silver or gold and everything I get, of course, again, matches your mask chain, and just have fun with it. You do not need to spend a lot to have fun with your jewelry. And unfortunately, I'm not a scientist. That is so not my field, but I do see it here for a while. But just feel normal and feel yourself. And if I wasn't wearing jewelry, I wouldn't feel 100%.
Do you feel, I saw a lot of monogram, a lot of things with your initials, which I love. One of my favorite things I got from you this year were the bead. You know, I love the beaded necklace, bracelet, sorry, with a square bead with my initial.
Yes.
I'm always so excited when I do something with my name, because growing up, can you imagine growing up in Grand Rapids with the name Sari? Growing up with the name Sari, anywhere.
You're not going to find a lot of things with their name on it.
Never. So, you know, like, and then I did that to my children, of course. Like, there's, you know, like, oh, sorry, you're not getting your name with anything on it unless it's
There's
special.
no mug with your name on it.
No, not
okay,
at all.
Really, it's great that you brought that up, because behind me I have a ton of the beaded necklaces,
Mhm.
and then they're all stretched, and then I did an initial on each one, so that's great for wearing. And then I also have lockets. So I
saw our lockets back in style.
Lockets are back, or I'm just bringing them back. I'm telling you,
I think you're bringing them back.
Lockets in my mind are back. So I have them, and what I suggest to everybody, so I brought them back around Mother's Day, because I thought the lockets were a great Mother's Day gift, and they did great. And I want to keep them going through the holidays, because you can put mini pictures in them, and then on the back, I can engrave them as a gift.
Oh.
So
I love that. You know, one of my favorite, I always tell my mom, you can give my sister all the nice jewelry, but my mom has like a charm bracelet, and there's like a little locket on it and things like that. I just love things like that. So I have noticed your lockets, and I'm like, wow, our locket's back.
Really cool gift. It's a really amazing gift.
I love personal, you know, I really do love, you know, personal gifts. I love initials. I mean, I always see people with the big letter. Like, I don't think I could do like a big letter, you know, that's not me, like that big. But yesterday I was on a Zoom call, and this cute, adorable client had like one of those big letters, and I swear, like the whole time I'm looking, I'm like, God, that's so cute.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, lockets are huge. Gold, I'm telling you, gold. But even if you don't have gold right now, get one piece and then layer it with silver, and then just see if you like it, and then you can keep adding to the collection. I always tell people, don't be scared to mix your metals, because
I know.
Okay. It's okay. You're okay to mix your silver and your gold.
I love that about you, because my favorite, and it broke during COVID, so I'm not wearing it. I have a different watch on, but my Mickey watch is,
oh no, it broke?
Well, the battery's dead, so I have to go somewhere.
Okay.
And I think there's something wrong with the timepiece, but it's a mixed metal. So I'm always like, I can mix my metals on my watch, you know, but I love mixing metals. And if anybody looks at me, I'm like, Ashley Gold said I can mix my metals. So
you
there
have
you
to
go.
mix metals.
Yeah.
That will never go out of style.
Maybe that should be your tagline.
Mix your metals? Always mix your metals. It's okay.
So, you know, you're not getting off too easily with me. And you know what's coming.
Yes.
Ashley, if I have to do FaceTime lives and podcasts, we want to hear from you. So I think that, you know, we're still in COVID. You're not going anywhere. I know you're going I don't think you're going anywhere, because I know you personally. I think that, you know, I'm just going to put it out there with no answer in sight, but I do think that the podcast needs to come back. I know that you do FaceTime, and they're so highly successful, but I think that the podcast needs to come back. It was really, you know, I'm putting it out there to anyone who watches my FaceTime.
Okay, so the podcast is coming back, but here's the but.
Oh, it's live now.
Okay, and it's recorded and it's official. We're like drawing on the dotted line. I need a name. I can't think of a name. So I need you to help me brainstorm the name, because it can't be Pawnchick Radio anymore.
No, it can't be.
We need to rebrand.
Okay. Run a contest. Let's run a contest.
Okay, I need the contest. If somebody wants, that's watching this to come
the golden mic or something. I don't know.
So it's coming back. My goal is to have it out by September after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And I need a name.
Okay. Everybody, you heard it. We're gonna figure out.
We're podcasting with me coming up after Labor Day.
I do think your podcast was so fun, and the difference is that you're very comfortable doing this. I always say I'm such a behind the scenes.
No, you're amazing.
But your podcast was fun to listen to, very raw, just really fun. You're always just innovative and coming up with really new fun things. And one of the words I heard yesterday that has been sticking with me was something else, but you're a connector. And I was thinking about that in the fact that you and I were going to talk. You do like to connect people. And so, and you've done that with me. And I have to say that that's one of the reasons I do want to see you do a podcast, because you do like to connect with people. And I think that doing a podcast and you connecting with people is just so amazing. And I think that I really think that people want to hear from you. And so I love the jewelry, as you know, and the Instagram and your Facebook. So definitely go to ashleygold.com. I have to say that parents, please get your kids mask chains. Some are going to camps. Some are going off to their colleges and high school. So for next year, I hate to say it, they're going to lose their masks.
And I'm not going to stop making them.
Yeah, I mean, let's just face it. Like, we love our kids. I'll throw mine under the bus right now, like, whoo, under the bus. They will lose them. Let's face it, they lose stuff in our homes. So can you imagine when they go out? Love it. Marissa was walking all over New York yesterday, in and out of Whole Foods. In New York now, you have to wear your mask everywhere, but she walked into Starbucks and she's drinking it. And what do you do when you go to drink your Starbucks walking around? What are you going to do? Hold your mask? No, she just dropped it down, put it back up. It's to me, this was the no-brainer of no-brainers. So I love,
like 10 years when it's done, you wear it as a necklace. In 10 years when COVID's over, when we can all travel again.
You literally are the Pawnchick. It all comes back. That sales I love it. I love talking to you.
I love talking to you too, and you're a great friend as well. Seriously, truly.
To you too. I'm sad that I'm not seeing you secret out that we were going to get together later today. Sorry about Michigan. It won't, because you're a connector. All right.
Until next time.
On your podcast.
I bet see before Labor Day.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for
day.
coming on. I appreciate it. I adore you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.